Welcome, everyone. My name is Marina Antunes, Festival Director for Spark Animation, and welcome to this entry into our Meet the Filmmaker series, where we talk to filmmakers whose films are playing at the festival. Very, very pleased to have with us today Filip Diviak, the director of My Name is Edgar and I Have a Cow, which was actually not only playing at the festival, but was the recipient of a special mention comedy prize at this year's Spark Animation. Thank you so much for joining us, Filip.
Thank you very much for inviting. Hi.
Congratulations on the film. I wanted to start by asking you about the idea for it. How did this story first come to you?
The story started I don't know, what was it, like 2 years ago or something, when I was actually in Norway during that time. And I remember when we were talking with my friend, she like her mom is working in a farm, and we were just like texting, and she was saying that there is a small calf which was born in a farm, but they will probably sell it for the meat. And I was just kidding, like she should take the cow to the apartment, to the place. And yeah, so that was like the very basis for the story. I found it like a nice funny picture to see the cow in an apartment. So I started to work on the story. The calf, unfortunately, didn't end up very, very well, but at least I had a story for the film. But yeah, so this is like the basic for where I started firstly.
Well, the movie is very funny, and the jury did note that it's just this very charming, kind of ridiculous concept when you think about it. You know, like take a cow home to save it. The film is also like very gently it promotes this concept of vegetarianism and being one with animals and being in touch with yourself and the world around you. Can you talk a little bit about balancing this message with a lightheartedness that comes through in the film so well?
Sure. Well, firstly, I didn't want to because many people who seen the movie, they're trying to find the meaning of the movie, like the main message. And of course, it's very easy to see the not eating meat, let's say, message in it, which it's definitely there, and that's one of the things I wanted to say. But it wasn't like my main message, what I wanted to catch in the movie, because I feel like you can't really change people by saying don't eat meat. Like it needs to be their own will, and I just wanted to put this inside as a part of the movie, but like the messages are, for me, like the main topics I wanted to talk about is that that sometimes when we want to make like some good deed or doing something for bigger good, let's say, we just need to think it through a little bit more, because sometimes it can just end up as a disaster, as it ended up in the movie. And yeah, so and another thing was like sometimes we want something but it's different than the thing we need. So yeah, which we could also see in the movie in the way that Edgar, the main hero character, wanted to buy flash car for himself, but in the end he bought the house with the garden for the cow. So this is like two main things I wanted to talk about. But of course, definitely there's vegetarianism and this kind of things, which I wanted to make it more subtle.
Oh, yeah, and it comes across really well. I mean, one of the things that's really beautiful about the film is the simplicity of the message. There's a lot going on, but it's also very straightforward and really accessible. So you have Edgar, who is this really lovable character. He speaks in this very particular way. You have very simple dialogue. Your designs are beautiful, but also very simplistic. Can you talk a little bit about, the design of your character and the look of the film and how you came upon, what the movie looks and sounds like.
Yeah, and yeah, you're actually very right in this. Like regarding the simplicity, I really wanted to make the character like also visually, but also as a character very simple, because I wanted to make him like a very simple man, which is not thinking about any like saving the environment, pollutions, and this kind of things. He just saw a little small cow which needs help, and he just helped the cow. That's the furthest his brain can go in thinking, and it goes hand in hand with the visuals, definitely, because I wanted to make visuals as well. In the beginning, I wanted to make visual by watercolor. And I bought all the stuff. I bought the brushes, I bought the colors, I bought the papers and everything. And until that moment, I was working digitally only, usually like with my movies. And so I had all the stuff for trying to do like finally something more artistic, like on the paper and so on. And I came home and I was like, okay, maybe let's try one background in digital, and we will see how it goes. And so the movie ended up digital, the whole movie, because I never opened the papers, I never opened the brushes from that moment, because I found out that it's much simpler to do it digitally. So for me, but maybe next time I will finally come out of my comfort zone, but it wasn't this time. Anyways, I really wanted to make it simple. Like I wanted to make it like a children drawing, basically. And the shapes, the colors, the angles of the camera, it's very like frame, basically, like a picture or something. And and one fun fact is, for example, that I didn't give Edgar eyebrows because I wanted him to be like I didn't want him to have a facial expressions. I wanted him to make like a gestures and act as a hero, not shoving us on the face, if you know what I want to say. Like yeah, because like when he's talking, or he's very like robot, he's even talking like robot, he's looking like robot the whole time, his face like poker face, and we can just see how he thinks and how he acts through his acts. Like when he don't punish the cow for breaking his stuff, because he's always like trying to find another reason why it happened, not trying to find the like reason it's because of the cow or something. And so in the end as well, like we can see that he bought the garden or the farm, let's say. So this is kind of the things I wanted him to be presented by, rather than his smile or his angriness or whatever. Yeah.
That's so fascinating. I've now seen the movie, I think, like maybe 4 or 5 times. I have never noticed that he doesn't have eyebrows.
Yeah, now you will see.
I'm going to have to watch it again now. Was that a conscious decision right from the beginning of the development, or did that just come up as you started working on the film and kind of designing what Edgar was going to look like?
I think it kind of like during I started to do the movie, like I started to animate. And maybe there were even like some tests with the eyebrows, but I was like, this is not him. Like, this is not his character. He needs to be poker faced the whole time. So the humor works even better with this poker face and poker talk, let's say, or something. Yeah.
Well, and that was another thing when there's this the tone of his voice. And of course, like I've watched it in English, so I assume it might be slightly different depending on the language that you watch it in. But there is this very, you mentioned like purposeful way that he speaks. It's very simple, but also very like matter of fact. Like, my name is Edgar. I have a cow. Like there's a very
it's like tutorial, like watching tutorial basically or something. Yeah, it's very straightforward.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about like developing that cadence to the language so that you have that sort of, because it's also kind of rhythmic. As he talks, it almost feels like you're subdued into like this, I don't know, this calmness. It's very calming.
Um, yeah, so I don't know. It just came to me like this is the right way how to do the voiceover or monologue, because I felt like this. Like I think it was mainly because of it sounds funny, and yeah, and also it's maybe because like let's like come back to the main topics, which were like this, you know, losing something, blah blah blah, and vegetarianism, let's say. And I feel like I can't be serious like talking about this stuff because I need to make fun of it, so it hits harder, like in some way, if you know what I mean. Like if I would be like very serious and being like, yeah, we need to stop eating meat or whatever, people would just be like, don't teach me about the things. Just they just wanted to have people like audience they just want to have a fun and maybe in somewhere in some consciousness this message will come to them. And maybe in 1 week they will think about the movie and they will be like, oh, it was not just about the jokes, like there were more things in it. So yeah, so this is the way I want to look at it.
It's super effective. It totally works. You talked a little bit about the eyebrows and that how that was something that you removed while you were in production. Were there any other changes that you made while you were in production or leading up to the production that, you know, changed either how the film looked or like the final project as a whole?
I mean, I had like natural development with visuals because I did like I was kind of like searching for the visual, how it's gonna look in the end. And as you can maybe see in the movie, I was trying to fake the watercolors in the end. But I mean, I showed it to my friends. And I was like, so it looks like watercolors, right? And they're like, not at all. I was like, ah, shit. So it didn't work out very well, but here we are. And yeah, and what was that question? I forgot. Like,
Yeah, if there were any other changes.
The changes. Yeah, actually, I like the movie. The final movie looks pretty much as it looked in the very first draft of storyboard I did, because like I did this. As I said, I was in Norway and we were like in a cottage during the winter. It was during the New Year's Eve. And I had this idea of this movie, so I started to just draw like little sketches to my sketchbook. And in the end, the movie is very similar to my sketches, in like frame by frame to the sketchbook, which doesn't really like happens to me. Like usually, the movies looks totally different than my storyboards, because usually when I'm making the movie, like even when I have everything animated or even when I'm coloring already, I make like big changes, like I changed the whole end, for example, and so on. So, and I guess this was like very straightforward, simple thing. Like it was, because before I did my diploma movie, which was longer and which was like more serious, let's say, even though it was comedy in some way. But this, I wanted to just do like a little sketch, like little funny sketch. Wanted to have fun with it. Didn't want to spend long time on this movie, because I wanted to keep my distance from the movie, which is very hard when you do animation for 2 years straight or something. So, yeah. So there were like big changes. There were like very small, subtle changes, which, for example, one of them was like, and it was after I was talking with my producer, that in the end we need something like, we need to make like, build like big attention to think that he killed the cow. So for example, there are these shots of a blanket on the sofa, which the cow is always wearing when she's like sleeping. Then there is like this small flower which the cow is having like behind the ear, which is on the table and in the end, and so on. So we think like he killed the cow, and these shots were the changes I did. So in the end, when I decided that I need something to show that it was used by cow, but now it's not as the blanket or the flower. So I decided to do these things, and I need, like, backwards, I needed to add blanket on the cow in every shot she was sleeping. I needed to add flower in every shot she was after she broke the flowers. So yeah, this kind of thing, which, like, they are kind of like big changes, but they were not like that difficult, let's say, or something. I didn't need to, like, think that much about it, how to do it, how to approach it. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You talk a little bit about how you sketched this all out pretty much during New Year's Eve. Do you always carry a sketchbook? Is that sort of how you process ideas when you get an idea? Do you like?
No, well, actually, I had sketchbook before because I'm very, like, analog person, and I had sketchbook before, and I bought it because I wanted to draw, because I felt like I do everything digitally and I just need to take pencil and draw finally something. But usually my sketchbooks were, like, full of notes. There were no pictures. I didn't draw nothing at all. And I was just, like, writing down some notes, like some funny ideas, some funny, like, like frames or something. And now I don't even have a sketchbook, which is, like, shame on me, definitely. And now because I found out there is an application in the phone where you can just write the notes, which I didn't know before. So now I'm just writing notes to my phone because, yeah, but I really need to come back to the sketchbook and at least start to draw something finally, because, yeah, I'm terrible artist.
I don't think so. I mean, every artist has their own way. The reality of it is the phone is always with you. You're never going to leave home without it.
That's true. But this is actually my second phone already, because the first one, when I had all my notes, I was in the strong rain and it got drowned. So I have no notes from that one. So, so this is, like, the very bad thing about the phones. Like, this couldn't, I mean, maybe it could happen with the sketchbook, but you don't have to turn on and turn off sketchbook. So, yeah.
That your next brilliant idea might have been on that phone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, talking about brilliant ideas, you mentioned that, this particular film, it didn't change much from the original concept. How do you once you actually, like, have an idea, and it sounds like you always have a couple of things that are sort of working in the background, how long does it usually take for you to actually sort of figure out what your next project is going to be, and then commit to actually making that? Like, what was that timeline like for My Name is Edgar?
You mean like from the first idea until when I started to work on it? Okay, so the very first idea was, like, on New Year's Eve, as I said, and I started to work on it already after I sketched the storyboard, because I was on an internship in Norway and I didn't really have much to do there. So I started to just animate some, like, scene by scene the movie. And after my internship finished, I went back home and I animated, like, half of the movie. But afterwards, when I came back home, I didn't really have much time to work on it anymore. And luckily, it happened that on one festival, my previous movie, the diploma movie, had some prize there, basically. And in jury, there was one girl. Her name is Bardel. And we were talking afterwards, and she was like, could we maybe call, like, in a few days, just, like, about what you are doing now, what you are planning to do, and so on. So we were calling, and we were just, like, casually talking, and she was asking me if I have some project which I'm working on now. And it came to my mind that actually, because it was like 10 months after I came back from Norway, So I was like, actually, I have a movie in my drawer, but I didn't finish the movie. So we started to talk about this movie, and she was the producer, and she was like, yeah, so maybe let's make like a presentation for my because she was working in a production company. So I made a presentation for them, and like in 1 week, they were like, yeah, we are going into it. We will, like, if you want, we can do it with you. We will like find money for the movie and so on. So I was like, heck yeah, like I didn't even actually know that I'm gonna do this movie for money. I just thought I will do it on my table in my room, like on my own, and nobody will ever see it, maybe my mom or something. So it was amazing and it was actually my very first like professional movie, and the movie which I was paid for, which was like amazing feeling actually. So yeah, this is how it ended up to be done, because maybe like if I wouldn't, I guess if I wouldn't meet Bara, it would never happen. Like this movie would never come out. Maybe like 15 years from now or something.
15 years later, my passion project that I started.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to talk a little bit more about the production, because one of the things that I also really loved is the music. Like, just everything works so well together, and the music is just so much fun. And it's this little earworm, like you hear it once and you're like, I need to hear it again, which is probably why I've seen the movie so many times. And I noticed that you also have some credit on the music. Can you talk a little bit about how you guys came up with that little song, which is so catchy?
Yeah, so yeah, thank you. And so this is like the first movie which I composed the whole music for, basically. And I just knew that I wanted, because in previous movies I was also like participating on the music, but I wasn't the composer or something. I just played maybe one instrument or something, and it was done by my other like musician friends, and they are like amazing musicians and so on. But in this movie, I knew that it's simple movie, simple visual, simple everything, as we talked about before, and so I knew I need simple music in it to kind of like support everything else. And yeah, so I knew, like in the beginning, I thought it's gonna be like 2 instruments, and then I think it was when I saw there is a movie called Swiss Army Man, and it's like, yeah, if you know, and there is the whole music. I think maybe beside few instruments, the whole music is made by like a cappella. So I thought this is exactly what I need in the movie. Like I will do it by my mouth. So I started to like. It was actually like after I done all the scenes, like I animated the whole movie, then I cutted it all together, and then I started to do the music like live on the cut, and I started to like do some noises with my mouth. I was like, okay, this doesn't sound bad. And sometimes like, and it's even in the movie until now, that sometimes I was like singing something, and suddenly I was like, da, 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 da. I was like, oh, it works actually. And it was just like improvisation. Like I was just making a fun, like, okay, I will just do this and turn off the microphone or something. And in the end, it ends up in the movie. Like it was, because it fits there basically. So, and this was like, I mean, everything I do is like big improvisation. Like the whole process of making the music, it was like big improvisation in it. And yeah, so that's it. And then I just went to my friend, which was working with me on the previous movies, and we were recording together. He's also a singer, so he also added some like notes or melodies in it to have like more diverse tones or more diverse like colors of the voice. And yeah, and then we added the guitar for more like like full scenes, or how to say, and that's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
That's amazing. It works so well. And like I say, like
Thank
the whole
you.
package, the editing, the way you place the camera, like you talk about the scenes towards the end where you kind of think, what's happened to the cow? And then you see
Yeah,
the pot with the red coming all over the side, and you're like, what's happened to the
yeah.
cow? The whole thing is just so
I
genius.
love the moment. I love to see it in the cinema in this moment, and everybody will like, he killed her. He really killed her. And I'm like, yeah, that means it works.
Well, can you talk a little bit about that? Because you've clearly seen it with audiences. What generally is sort of the feedback that you get from people that have seen the movie?
I think it's like I had only like good experiences with the feedback. I mean, like usually you have it, nobody comes to you and say this movie sucks or it's terrible. You know, everybody are just very good job, a good movie or something. And then if there is something not working, they will like beside your back. They are talking about it. Or maybe I have a few friends which I trust you, and they always tell me like if something is not working there, they tell me, and I'm very glad for that because otherwise I would never find out. And but yeah, so it was during the process I was like discussing it with my friends a lot, like other filmmakers, which was very good. And so in the end, I guess like I can like from my side, which I'm not usually saying, I'm very satisfied with this movie. Like I wasn't with the movies I did before, but in this one, maybe few changes, but otherwise, it ended up as I wanted. It ended up as like little play, like little sketch. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
So what's next for you? Are you gonna work on another project? Do you have something you're
I
working on now?
I am. Right now, I'm working on the feature movie. I'm already working like 2 years on it, and it's actually in the development already. So that's like the bigger thing I'm working on. I guess it's gonna be another 15 years, and and with our phones and everything here in Europe. And beside it, I started to work on. I started to write a script for another short movie, but this time I'd like to make like a live action movie because I wanted to try to work with the actors and so on. But it's gonna be like kind of I really like to do like simple stuff, like simple ideas, but like put some like not doing like pure comedy or pure drama. I want to do something between so it works together. And sometimes I just really like to make have audience like mixture of feelings, like like end up the movie with tears and smile in the same time. I don't like to do just happy endings or whatever. So now I'm working on this short movie, which is also gonna be like a dramedy. And but I slowly kind of want to like go from the animation to live action because my back hurts from animation, and it takes a long time and everything. Even though I love animation, and I want to make like a slow transition, so it's gonna be like a live action movie with a hand drawn character in it, with an animation character. Yeah.
Interesting. So I guess
Yeah,
those
yeah.
watercolors are going to wait a little longer in the closet.
Definitely. Maybe I will bring them up, and then I will turn on the computer, and again I will just put them back to drawer. We'll see. Yeah.
Again, Filip, congratulations on the film. It's really, really wonderful. It's been really lovely speaking with you. Thank you for sharing some insights into the making of My Name is Edgar and I Have a Cow.
No problem. Thank you very much for inviting me. Everything, it was lovely.
Can't wait to see the next one.
Yeah, you will wait a long time, but we will come to that. Don't worry.